What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is the JR Wisdom channel. Once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all of the notifications for all of my future videos. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. Do not let, dear men, dear gents, dear fellas, do not let emotional women cause you to make a emotional decision that you will regret. So I say that to say, I had a situation, I had a closing yesterday. I'm a realtor for those of you who don't know. Had a closing yesterday, but we were actually supposed to close the day before. Yesterday was Friday. We were supposed to close the day before on Thursday. The house, and I was representing the seller in this transaction. The house, basically, they fell in love with the house. It's a guy and his wife. Older couple in their late 40s, early 50s. They loved the house, were basically all excited and everything, and they were, one of the contingencies of buying this house was that they needed to sell their house to buy this house, which happened, but they were a little late, which messed up the timeline for when they were supposed to close. So what they wanted to do, or what he wanted to do, or his wife wanted to do, whatever you want to call it, was they wanted to basically do an early occupancy into, my client's house, the seller. And based off the terms of it, we were still moving things, and my client just didn't want to do that. And it's never really a good idea to do an early occupancy when you haven't got the clear to close yet. And that's basically what I said. You're not going to do an early occupancy until we get a clear to close anyway. But my client just didn't want to do it. So I guess this in turn upset them, right? This upset them, and I kind of heard it, on the back end of it. And there was a sequence of events that happened. So we finally get the clear to close. So they do the final walkthrough on which I thought was strange. They do the final walkthrough an hour before closing. So they did a final walkthrough at 1 o'clock. Closing was at 2 o'clock. My client's telling me that whole morning he's riding back and forth in front of the house. He comes to the house finally at the walkthrough, which he could have did the day prior, and he goes under the house. Everything had already been inspected and cleared or whatever by all the inspectors. And so he decides to go under the house. Keep in mind, here in South Carolina, where I live, in Charleston, it's been raining for like the past 3 weeks. Just almost nonstop, just raining. And he decides to go under the house. This is a mobile home. He goes under the house, says he sees a bunch of water under there, and comes out, I don't want to buy a house anymore. We're like, what are you talking about? You don't want to buy the house. This is an hour before closing. You don't want to buy the house? And my seller, my client's telling me, she's like, when he showed up, because I wasn't there, I was still driving to get there. But he was there with his agent to do the final walkthrough. He was upset just when he showed up. And basically he was like, yeah, if anything's wrong with this house, I'm not going to buy it. Da, 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 da. He was just excited just right before then. So he goes under, comes out, I'm not buying this house. There's water under there. Water. So I'm like, what? And this is like 30 minutes before closing. So I have my client's husband, he goes under there, he doesn't really see any water. So we get to the attorney's office, hopefully we can figure something out. And he's just adamant, I'm not, and the wife was basically like, his wife wasn't anywhere, and like she just stayed in the car and pretended like she was sick, right? So they get to the point where he's just like, why don't we just have some actual inspector go out there and look and see what's up? And we're like, okay, if the inspector says it's good to go, will you close? He's like, yeah. I said, well, just be honest, because it seems like, something's going on. and you all of a sudden it's like you're on a power trip or whatever. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, his wife must have said something to him, or they got into an argument about this, and frustrated because we didn't bend to what it is that they wanted. Any solid man, you're not going to go that far in a transaction. And if it is, the day of closing, you're not going to close because of something like water that we could fix. So we get out there, they inspect it, and the guy that inspected, he's like, yeah, there's a little water, but it was caused because of the rain. We could fix this by doing this. So it was like, okay, we'll go ahead and pay to have that fixed. We'll have that done the next day. No problem. We'll do an addendum to have it done the next day. Nah, I don't want the house anymore. I don't want it. You don't want the house anymore. The client's already moved her stuff out, everything, did all this work, prepared. I don't want the house anymore. Like, bet. Okay. And everybody, when you're buying a house, there's so many parties involved, from the attorneys, the agents, the lender, other inspectors, so on and so forth, that's involved in buying this house, and everybody's waiting to close this so they can get paid. So he basically gets to the finish line and just says, eh. So we're like, bet. He gets his stuff, leaves out of the yard, and I'm just thinking in the back, something don't sound right. So I had a conversation, and I just basically was like, yo, I'm pretty sure, because men don't do that. Men don't do stuff like that. So I'm like, the wife must have gotten to him and basically was like, you better not buy that house, even though it's his money. You better not buy that house. How dare they not let us move in early? How dare they do this to us? How about we show them and just don't buy the house? I'm pretty sure that's exactly how the conversation went. And that's what I was telling my client. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I said, no worries, we'll put it back on the market. And I told the agent, I said, well, thanks. And she was like, she apologized. I'm so sorry, so on and so forth. Put it back on the market. But I was like, I got a feeling they're going to call the next day after they think about the gravity of the situation, that they're living in a hotel, and they have this house here that everybody made plans for. So I'm up 7 o'clock yesterday morning, doing some marketing on my phone on Facebook. I get a call from the agent. Hey, JR, can we, he had a change of heart and he wants to know if the house is still available, will you sell it, blah, 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 blah. So I said, well, let me ask my client, you know what I'm saying? We'll fix it. We'll fix the issue with the water thing and do it like that or whatever. So we agree and we go to closing, and we're at closing. Both my client and him are there, and we're talking, we're having a conversation. This guy's throwing his wife under the bus. He's talking trash about her, saying, yeah, she was saying, how they did this to us. How are we going to buy this house, so on and so forth. And in beta fashion, in order to please her, he already put down earnest money and everything. In order to please her, he had it set in his mind, that morning prior, that he wasn't going to buy it. So he was like, yeah, I'm sorry about that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking at him and I'm just thinking, like, you're a classic example of a beta. Even in your late 40s and your wife doesn't work, you're taking care of her. He just married her, I guess, not a few years ago. Her and her daughter or whatever. And you get emotional, and this is what you guys need to think about, because dudes do it all the time. You get emotional because she's getting emotional, instead of you being the voice of reason and being the man and leading in situations like this. Because what you guys need to understand, whether you're dating or whether you're engaged or you're just starting out a relationship, women will get emotional and not be logical and not be the voice of reason for the most part. And she's looking for a man to do the same, not when she's obviously in her feminine by being emotional, you go into your feminine following her. Whatever you want to do, baby, whatever you want to do. Let's not buy the house, da, 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 da. No, we made this decision. This is what we're going to do. Same thing when all this thing, where do you want to eat at and all this stuff like that. And, what do you want to get as far as this? There's nothing wrong with conversing, but you have to understand a lot of times women want you to take the lead with these things. You're the man. You're about direction, taking the lead. What should happen? Fixing things. Purpose. Instead of like, oh, well, let me just follow you. We're not going to do this. Okay, that makes sense. And then in a moment, and so many dudes like this were a lot of times didn't have a solid father that raised them. And they were raised by a mother who may have dominated the father, and they're used to being that and emotional and stuff like that. So this is just one of those things that you guys need to be aware of. And just know that you have to take charge, and that's what basically women are drawn to, women are attracted to. They're not attracted to, as much as they say they like a man to simp out, they respect the man who takes charge and who's the alpha of the family and not the beta. So guys, don't ever be like that. Stand on your word. It's about direction. It's about purpose. So that's all I had to say. I just wanted to give you all that quick story or whatever. So if you guys, find benefit in this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It helps to promote the video. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all of my future videos. Share the video if you feel like it'll be a benefit. And like I said, also, while you're subscribing to my channel, make sure you guys subscribe to my other channels. The links are in the description as well. And if you got any topics you'd like me to discuss or any questions, please feel free to email me. If you want to book a one-on-one consultation with yours truly, hit me up on Calendly. The link is in the description as well. And if you guys haven't picked up a copy of my new book, The Law of Attraction for the Pessimistic Mind, it's now available on Amazon.com in ebook and paperback format. It's about manifesting and controlling your emotions. Make sure you guys get that copy ASAP. And there's some videos that are popping up on the screen now. Make sure you guys click on one of those. Hopefully you find something you like. And with that being said, peace be upon you and the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.